Back to our third webinar in our three-part series on how to get more clients or patients from the internet. And yeah, I hope you've really enjoyed the first two webinars we've done. We've covered a lot of ground already. Lots of information so far on search engine optimization and how to structure your website. And of course, last week was all about Facebook. So if you haven't had a chance to watch last week's webinar yet, it is definitely up there on our recording page, so go ahead and check that out, and you should have gotten an email with a link about that already, but just in case you need that link, it's buildyourdreampractice.net/get-more-clients-webinar-recordings. I am not going to repeat that, so go ahead and write that down in case you need it, but that's where you can access the recordings for all three of these webinars pretty much on an indefinite basis. So I'm just going to keep these posted for you, and these are all password protected, so the password is GMC Webinars, all one phrase there, GMC Webinars, and that will get you in here. Please don't share that link or that password with anybody else who is outside of this program. That'd be great. So today we are talking a lot about blogging and video marketing for your business or for your practice. And these are definitely two of my favorite strategies. I've used them a lot in my own business, both for my local practice and for my coaching business as well, and for everything else I've ever done to market anything on the internet. Blogging and online video is always kind of at the top of the list in terms of the go-to strategies that I'll use. And I'm certainly not alone in that. These are two of the very best ways to get exposure, to achieve kind of a celebrity status and just get more expert positioning for what you do. So we're going to dive in here and cover quite a bit on these two subjects and make sure that you really understand how to use blogging and video marketing effectively to build your business. They can be extremely helpful. Most people really don't understand kind of the science and some of the nuances behind using blogging and video. So if you're going to take the time to do this, put the energy into it, you definitely want to have a clear kind of intention and focus and really understand what the goal is here and how to leverage these strategies effectively. So that is our intention today. Just with these two topics, it's definitely going to take all of our time today. So this is going to be very content rich. I talked last week about wanting to get to some information for you guys about kind of more passive income creation and how do you use the internet to scale what you're doing up to a much bigger level. So instead of just looking for local clients or kind of keeping it to your geographic location, how do you productize your knowledge and scale it out to a worldwide audience? Because I think that's really exciting if you can do that. And I think what's helpful about the information you're getting in this series is that you can take all of this and really apply it to any sort of business venture you want. So, of course, whether it's a local practice or if you start creating your own products like ebooks or books, or you want to do more virtual consulting, you can take these strategies and use them for a worldwide market as well. So you can certainly build out a fan page that targets across the world. You can certainly do search engine optimization for people that are typing in keywords from anywhere, not just for your geographic location. So you definitely want to keep that in mind, because I kind of see that as the natural evolution of this process, that once you really get more confident and clear on how to attract clients locally to your practice, there's kind of a natural impulse to want to grow from there and to take these strategies and keep building your brand, your exposure, and then from there develop more of the passive income model. So if you've heard me talk about this before, you know that I divide this up into three different phases of business growth. Phase one is the startup phase, and that's usually in the first couple of years, where you're getting your practice from like 0 to 15 or maybe 20 clients per week. And the goal in that startup phase in phase one is just to break even and just to get yourself to a place where you're starting to, look at creating some profit. You can pay your overhead, you can pay all of your expenses, but you're probably not all that profitable yet. And then in phase two, the goal there is to really max out the time for money model, fill your schedule as much as you can. For a lot of us, that looks like seeing 40 to 60 patients or clients a week. For some of us, it might be quite a bit less or even quite a bit more than that. And I think a lot of us think that that's where the journey ends, that if we can just get ourselves to that level, everything will be hunky-dory and we never have to really worry about, getting clients or making enough money or anything like that. And what I've discovered in my own experience, and I think what a lot of people kind of come up against, once you max out that phase 2 model, you do start to feel some inherent limitations in the model because as you're maxing out your schedule, of course, your time and your options in life tend to decrease because you're working so hard just seeing clients and managing your business that there are some inherent limitations in that. And for a lot of us, that can feel stressful, and it can feel like just maybe more than we really want to bite off every single day of our lives. So that's where the phase 3 model comes in, which is more of what I call the freedom phase, and creating a lifestyle through your business that really works for you. And inevitably, you have to have some passive income strategies built into that because it's not just about trading time for money. So I really encourage you to take everything you're learning and keep growing, keep evolving towards that phase 3 model, because the internet is definitely the very best medium to use. I really think for all 3 of these phases, but ultimately for phase 3. You want to think of using these strategies to get online, get a lot of exposure, build a huge email list, a big audience on Facebook, and then productize your knowledge and create a series of ebooks or online courses or memberships that take what's already in your head and just get it out there in creative ways to people that could really benefit. And that, to me, is kind of like more of an ultimate ideal fruition as a business owner. And so we don't have time in this particular webinar today to go into a great bit of detail about that. But what I am going to do for you guys is post another recorded webinar or video that I have on that subject. And I'll just keep that on the page, the exact same page there, and that'll be kind of like my own little bonus to you guys, I guess, for doing this program, because I definitely want to make sure that you get that information and you understand exactly how to use information products and ebooks to generate passive income. It's really not that hard to do, especially if you have the right kind of model that you're working with and you know how to create content really easily. And you can keep it really simple. That's really what you're trying to do there. So I'll include some of that in as well at the end, but let's go ahead and keep our focus today. I think that's still where most of you are very likely at. So let's go ahead and jump in. So before we get into blogging and video, I wanted to just share a few email marketing tips with you, because I definitely promised that I would do that, and I want to make sure that you really understand how to use email in the most beneficial way possible for your business. I consider email marketing to be one of the cornerstones of really any successful business. Small business, medium-sized business, doesn't matter what kind of business you have. If you're not using email marketing, you're definitely missing out on a very important system and strategy for your business. So we've talked about, how when you want to structure your website so that when people come to your website, you have a way to collect their contact information, right? And usually what's entailed in that is having an opt-in form with a free report or a free video that you give away in exchange for their email address. And as you get more people subscribing to your email list, that database grows and grows, and that becomes one of the primary assets you have as a business owner, if not the primary asset, because that is your built-in database, your network of people that have come to like what you're doing and trust your message and who are looking for more information. Now, a lot of those people on your email list won't necessarily be patients or clients right away, but they'll be interested in hearing more from you, and just they like getting information from you, maybe links to your blog posts or newsletters that you're doing, or whatever, links to videos. They just like hearing from you. And what I want everybody to think of as part of this series is, how can I build my email list as quickly as humanly possible? Because if you can do that, you're as good as gold, in my opinion. That email list is so powerful because, think about it. If you get 1,000 people on that email list, all that you really have to do over time is nurture relationships with those people, stay in touch with them, continue to share a lot of great value with them, and inevitably a certain percentage of them are going to want to work with you in your practice. And of course, that's assuming that you're getting people on your email list who do live locally and, they're fairly targeted prospects or leads for your business. So this is like a really, really important concept in marketing, that when most people hear about you and your business, they are not going to be ready to sign up today. They're not going to pick up the phone like right away and call you. That's not that common. Of course, it does happen because there are people out there that already know they're looking for you and they know they need help, and that's one of their top priorities. Most people, however, are not in that situation. Other things are taking priority. The stars aren't quite lining up for them to pick up the phone and call. Maybe it's a financial thing. Maybe they just have too many other issues on their plate. Whatever it is, that's just the way reality works. So what email marketing does is it enables you to stay in touch with those people who are interested, but they're not quite ready yet. They might need 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the road to kind of get to know you, to feel out what this is, and to build the confidence and the trust in what this in your message, so that at that point they'll naturally be ready and they'll want to work with you. Now, in my practice, this was incredibly common, where I would have people come in and they would say, I've actually been on your email list for like 6 months, and I've gotten a lot of your email messages, and I really like what you have to say, and actually that's mostly why I'm coming. I just felt like a connection with you and the way that you presented your information, and it seemed very professional, and mostly, though, I just made a connection with it. I felt like it made sense to me, and yeah, it resonated with me. That was an incredibly common theme, and actually I would say some of my ideal patients, some of the very best patients that ever came through my doors, said that exact thing. They said, I've been on your email list, I've seen a few of your blog posts, your articles, I've watched a couple of your videos, and yeah, I feel like I've kind of gotten to know you already, and that's why I'm here. I just got this kind of sense that you are the person I should see for help. So that's how powerful email is, and the ability to integrate like a multimedia approach into email. So what we want to do with your email marketing is get people onto your list and then have you stay in touch with them over time, indefinitely, pointing them to various multimedia resources you have online. And that is where you link to blog posts, where you link to videos that you've done, maybe audios, articles that you've written, to your social media sites like your fan page. That is how you connect with people and tip the odds in your favor that they're going to want to work with you over anybody else. So everything we're talking about today kind of falls naturally in line with that, because we are talking about blogging and video, which, these strategies have a very strong multimedia component. But the more you build that multimedia approach into your marketing, the more innovative you are, the more people like it, the more they're going to absorb your message. It's going to make a deeper impact on them. And it's you being different out there. It's you kind of branding yourself in a unique way that not many others are willing to do. And it's really, as you're going to see here, it's really not that hard to do. It's just a new skill that you want to develop here over time and practice with, okay? So just a few tips. So we talked about this starting with the opt-in form on your website. You want to have that opt-in form structured at the very top of your site, so it's the first thing that the eye is drawn to, and there's a compelling offer that you're making in exchange for their email address. So whether that's a free ebook, a free report, et cetera, that could look like a lot of different things. I showed you an example last week on the Facebook webinar about how you can actually create like what's called a squeeze page or a lead capture page that would be just an opt-in form with the offer you're making them, and that's all they see on the page. And that you can actually drive ads to a page like that. You can structure a lot of your marketing on the internet so your traffic goes to that page. That would be your one of your main landing pages. So the primary goal of a page like that is just to build your email list, is get people on that list, take them through a follow-up email sequence, and really maximize the chances of them wanting to work with you. I recommend using Aweber for email marketing. It's just aweber.com. It's a very simple system to use. If you're not a techie person, what you're going to want to do most likely is just have your web designer integrate Aweber into your website, and that's what enables you to collect contact information from people. And then if you use Aweber, you can set up a series of 2 months of follow-up automated emails that all your new leads will get. So you can space those out about a week apart. So every week, 7 days apart, and totally on autopilot, your people that are opting in are going to get follow-up emails from you. And like I said, those emails should point them to various resources that you have, to your YouTube channel, to your blog, to specific posts you've made, specific articles that you want them to read. Anything that will really enhance the user experience, that will show them how much value and how much expertise you have to offer them. So you want that automated email sequence to create the perception in the person's mind, like, wow, if I'm getting all of this cool content for free, I wonder what I get if I pay. I wonder what I get if I actually sign up for this person's services. That's a great perception to plant, and that's just a hallmark of marketing, that the more you're willing to kind of give away for free and the more value there is, the more willing somebody's going to want to be to work with you and to invest in what you have to offer. And you also want to use Aweber or a similar system to send out a minimum of 2 live email broadcasts per month. So those would be emails that you're sending out just in real time. They're not automated. You're writing them kind of more on the spot, and they're going out to your audience like now, right? So doing both the automated follow-up sequence and live broadcast, both are really good to do. Both are really important. But what this does is it gives you that really important contact management that I see missing in so many of the practices that I review and so many of the businesses. If you don't stay in touch with people, they will forget about you, I promise. And even if you're awesome at what you do, and even if you've done great work for them in the past, if you don't stay in touch with them and keep your name at the forefront of their mind, life priorities will take over. They'll get distracted. They'll kind of, slip out of, it'll slip out of their conscious awareness that you're out there, that you exist. And at the very least, what this does is it keeps your name out there. It keeps brand awareness and recognition alive, so people are always remembering, oh yeah, there is Kevin again, and there's another message, and oh yeah, I remember that now. And that can be a very subtle little suggestion, but still, over time, with consistency, that makes a profound difference to your bottom line, to your stability, to your sustainability. So like I said, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, they don't stay in touch with people. So a patient comes in, they terminate treatment after 3 or 4 sessions or 5 or whatever it is, and then you never contact them again, or extremely infrequently. Or somebody comes to your website and they're looking around and you don't have a way to stay in touch with them. They leave the site. You never follow up with them. Therefore, they never call you. So there are lots of scenarios here where you want a way to stay in touch with people, always. So that includes your current patients, your ex-patients, meaning your past patients, and prospective patients or clients. All 3 of these should have you should have the ability to stay in consistent automated contact with these people, and email marketing is really the very best way to do that. Your fan page, as we talked about last week, is second, and that's also an awesome way to stay in touch, just for contact management purposes, okay? So I hope that makes sense. But to me, this is kind of like one of the hallmarks of marketing online, is using email in the exact way that I'm talking about. And a lot of people, it's weird. I mean, I tell people this all the time, and I review sites out there, even from practitioners or business owners that are, quite successful, and they're not doing this. And I'm just like, wow, really? It's so important. So you definitely want to get the contact management going and keep your name out there in front of people's minds all the time. And that's good marketing. That just means you're kind of doing your end and fulfilling your role as the front-end person for your business. So Aweber, what's cool about it is it's about 20 bucks a month, and similar systems like Constant Contact or iContact are very comparable prices. So about 20 bucks a month to get started, and as your email list grows, those services become more expensive. But that's definitely an investment that you want to take on, an expense you want to take on. Okay. Yeah, and some people have asked me like about free services like MailChimp. I think that's fine to get started, but ideally I think Aweber just is more robust. It offers more functionality, and it's just a little stronger system. And it's just such an important aspect of what you're doing as a business owner. I would just use that and bite the bullet bucks and start building that list. Okay. All right. So that's very important foundation for everything that we're about to talk about. It's always about getting people onto your email list. So let's switch gears and talk a little bit about blogging, shall we? I'm sure everybody here has, at least at this point in time, heard about blogging and knows that it's a very popular aspect of marketing online, and that a lot of people really use blogging as a primary way to generate traffic and get more exposure. What I see, again, though, is that a lot of, I think, practice owners try to blog and they don't really get it. So I want to make sure that you have a very clear focus here when you're blogging, because it is a labor-intensive process. I mean, it is one of those strategies that takes time and energy, so it's definitely worth it, and there's a strong payoff, but we just want to make sure you're clear on what you're doing with a blog, okay? So blogging, in case that is a new term to you, it's just basically an online weblog or journal you keep. And it's meant to be a little bit more interactive, conversational, and fun than just typical academic writing. So on your blog, it's a good idea to share a little bit more of you and your personality, your personal life, and what you do on a daily basis, and trips that you're taking, and mix it up a little bit and have fun with your audience. And combine that with more academic writing and more theory-based writing. I think it's a fusion of the two that actually works really well, because you do want information on your blog that is directly relevant to what you do in your practice, but you also want to use your blog to build rapport with your audience and get more people just connected with you. So we talked in our first webinar a lot about how the average person out there now expects the opportunity to engage with you and build a relationship at least a little bit before they're expected to make a buying decision, right? That's one way that social media has completely changed the game of marketing any kind of business. That engagement piece is now really, really key, and the average consumer is a lot more empowered in terms of making that buying decision. So blogging is actually an aspect of social media. It is considered a social media hub. And it factors into this conversation very directly, because people want to be able to go to a blog where they can consume some of your content, learn more about you, get a sense of who you are and what you do and what makes you tick, what your values are, and they want to see that kind of combination of your own personal experience in life and what you do for business, what your services are, case studies, theory-based articles, right? So that's just one reason alone why blogging is so powerful and why it's so helpful for you, is that actually the average consumer of your services on some level expects it to be in place. And if you don't have it, they once again kind of feel forced into making a buying decision without really getting to know you very well. So blogging is a great way just to build relationships and get people knowing what you're doing, what makes you tick. So why blogging? Well, whoever has the most content wins. So content is king on the internet. We've all probably heard that phrase by now. And one of our primary strategies for getting more clients from the internet is to get to the top of Google. And the more content you generally have on your website, the easier it is to get that content ranked for various keywords. So if your website is 100 pages, and your closest competitor has a 10-page website, Google is generally always going to reward your site versus theirs. They're going to perceive you as more of an authority, and they're going to confer that kind of authority status onto you and therefore reward your site more. So if you're trying to rank your website for various keywords, and we all should be doing that, If you have great content on your site in the form of a WordPress blog, that's going to help you out a lot just by having it there. Expert positioning. So blogging and expert positioning go hand in hand. Blogging is an opportunity to showcase your expertise and really, share a lot of insights with your audience in a way that you really couldn't do anywhere else. So on your blog, you can talk about, the nature of healing. What causes people to really transform in the work that you offer. You can go into some pretty juicy / kind of provocative topics that kind of get an emotional charge out of your audience. You can share case studies that exemplify your expertise and how awesome you are at the work that you do. So the more of this kind of content you have, the more people kind of give you that almost like authorship status, where they come to your blog and they look at your blog almost like they would a book, where if there's all this great content, they think, wow, this person must be an expert in their field because they're sharing a lot of great stuff here. And that's always going to help you tremendously in your marketing. Is the more of that expert positioning you have, people are going to want to work with you versus your competitors in your area. Blogging is actually a pretty great way to get more referrals in the door. Oh, and actually, I'm going to post another little bonus for you guys, which is a referral generation webinar that I did some time ago that basically teaches you how to use the internet to get more referrals for your business. And that's a little out of the scope of what we can really dive deep into today. So I'm just going to post that training for you as well, because that's obviously a huge topic too, is how to get more referrals. And the internet in general should be a primary way that you're getting referrals. An example that a blog can get you referrals is, I'm going to give you two examples. One is more of like on an individual basis with a client that you're seeing. The other is more mass marketing. So on an individual basis, what you'll notice, you've seen this happen a lot, is a patient you're working with will have a positive experience with you, and then they'll say something like, oh, my husband has sciatic pain. Is that something that you can help with? And what most practitioners would do is just say, well, yeah, ... and there's not much more to it, or maybe, yeah, here's a business card, have them call me. Well, that's honestly a pretty lame process to take somebody through for referrals. It's very untargeted, and it does nothing to follow up with that person. So what you would want to do is say something like this: yeah, actually, I do help with sciatica a lot, and I actually just wrote a really awesome case study about a patient that just went through treatment with me for that exact same condition. What I'd like to do is send a link to that to your husband. Could I forward that to you, and maybe you could forward it to him? Or if I could just get his email address directly, I'll just shoot him a quick email and just introduce myself and give him a link to that blog post that I wrote. So that is very specific, very targeted marketing, right? Compare that to a business card that is just generic and has no information for that person. Now they have this really awesome case study or this article in front of them that gives them a lot of value and helpful tips. That's going to really tip the odds in your favor of that referral actually panning out, right? Now, on a mass marketing scale, you can use blogging. Like let's take that exact same idea of sciatic pain. Like you write a case study about sciatic pain, or maybe an article that's a blog post with some tips on healing it. And you send that to your email list, you share it on your fan page, and you, at the end of your blog post, the call to action is, hey, do you know one or two people who are struggling with this exact issue? If so, can you take a moment right now and just forward a link to this blog post to them? That would be great, just so they can get the help that they need. So once again, if you have an email list of 1,000 people, you're sharing a link to that blog post, or you're getting that on your fan page. And heck, even if you only get 3 or 4 or 5 of those people to forward that blog post to people they know, that's fantastic. I mean, that's really targeted, great marketing for you, and it's easy. So these are just a couple basic examples of why the internet is great for getting more referrals. So I hope that makes sense. Blogging makes social media marketing more effective because on your fan page and on Twitter, you want to be sharing content with your audience, and the main place you're putting that content is on a blog. So it's super easy to just syndicate and share your blog content with your fan page just by leaving a link on your fan page for your fans to consume, right? And you know, blogging is the hub of social media. So you're always using kind of awesome content to connect more deeply with your audience on social media and encourage them to spread the word, encourage them to come in themselves and to follow up with you. Blogging is also a really great practice because it refines your communication skills, and writing in general does this, right? But I think communication is one of the most important skills for all of us, you know, that directly impacts our bottom line success. So you want to keep working on this, and even if you don't get immediate results from writing blog posts, you want to know that you're practicing the art of communication. That if you can write your message about how you help people and the way that your modalities work and sharing case studies, if you can write that in a very natural way, you're going to be able to speak it much more naturally and much more powerfully. And on a one-to-one level with your clients, that's going to help a lot to educate them better, to build referrals through them, to build rapport. So communication is imperative to our success, and the practice of blogging refines that skill a lot. And audience engagement. So we've talked about this already, that the average person now expects some level of engagement with you before being expected to buy. So if they can consume some blog content and even leave a comment on your blog or share it or like it, that's one way that they can connect with you and engage with you before signing up for your services. So let's chat just a few minutes about what you should be blogging about. We've talked about case studies or stories from your practice. I like that approach a lot because it kind of triggers emotions in people, and it gets people more emotionally connected with what you do. If they can read about the transformation that other people have gone through in your work, and they can relate to that and they can empathize with it, that's always going to draw them into what you're doing more and make them that much more compelled to want to work with you. Conditions you treat, how and why it works. That kind of blog content is fantastic because, number one, you can get those keywords ranked to the top of the search engines. So if you're, you know, let's say you're an acupuncturist in San Antonio, you could write a whole series of conditions targeting local people in that area that are you know, going to Google and typing in like San Antonio back pain or San Antonio migraine relief or whatever, any sort of condition. So it's really quite easy to get those blog posts ranked at the top of Google. Secondly, that kind of content is always going to create better conversion on your website because most people, when they're searching for your help online, they have a specific condition that they want help with, right? So if they do it, if they have migraine headaches and they come to your website and they see on your blog that you've written a post all about how you treat migraines and giving them some helpful tips, that's going to convert a lot better. They're going to want to work with you versus somebody that does not have that content. So that makes a big difference. Blogging about like holistic lifestyle factors, like stress reduction, nutrition, spirituality, exercise. This is just a more generalized way to create content, but people always resonate with this. And you know, really getting into the actual life experience of your reader. What are they going through? What challenges are they facing? You know, it's not just about some primary health concern. They probably have stress. They're probably looking for help with their diet. Maybe they want to lose some weight. Maybe they feel spiritually disconnected. So you have an opportunity to help in multiple ways. And I think the more you blog on that level, what it does is it helps attract people to your work who want that from you. They don't want just a quick fix. They want somebody who's going to be more of like a coach for them and look at their life in a whole life context, not just through the lens of their chief complaint. So that kind of content, I think it really draws in ideal clients that really want more of a long-term therapeutic relationship with you. And really, you can blog about anything that you're passionate about that is related to your niche or industry, and honestly, sometimes that isn't at all related. So that's where you could talk more about politics, more about your personal life, anything that you're passionate about that your audience would connect with and create some sort of emotional reaction around. Those are fantastic subjects to blog about. Passion on your blog is probably the key attribute that you want to attract people to what you're doing, okay? So, blogging in this sense is like, it's a way to showcase your passion, to showcase your purpose, and to attract those people that resonate with that, or that makes sense to them, and to possibly even filter out the ones who don't. That some people might come to your blog and not really be aligned philosophically with what you're saying, or maybe they're just looking for something else. They have a different agenda in mind. So it's a great way to filter out people that aren't a great fit for you and to attract the ones that are. So we all probably know at this point we can't help everybody out there, right? We're not meant to help everybody with a pulse. You want to use your blog to really showcase what you do, who you help, how it works, and so you're really naturally attracting those kinds of people in, and that creates a much better treatment experience for both you and the client. Now, most bloggers are frustrated. I know that for a fact. Most people that try to blog definitely come up against the wall with it because they feel like they put all this effort in and they don't see a lot of result from it. And they get out there and they create all this content, they spend all this time on it, and then nothing really happens that they can directly see, as a benefit to their business. And that does suck. That is not much fun. So if you're going to go into blogging, you definitely want to overcome that obstacle and have a clear goal here. And the reason most bloggers are frustrated with their results is because they don't really understand the process. They don't really have a clear intention. And behind every post you create, there should be some clarity in your goal there. What is the point of that post? So if you're going to take the time to write the content, make sure you have a goal for it. And I want to kind of go over what those goals are. There are 4 of them that I consider to be primary in blogging. Number 1 is to get to the top of the search engines. Number 2 is social media interaction. Number 3 is just to connect with your email list. And number 4 would be all of the above. So you want to, when you go into writing a blog post, you want to think to yourself, okay, is my goal just to get this to the top of Google for a certain keyword? Is my goal to share it on social media sites? Is my goal to distribute it to my email list, kind of like an online newsletter? Or do I want to do all of this? So I would not go into creating blog content just randomly or willy-nilly, like with no real intent behind it. Look at one of these goals and say, yes, I'm doing it because I want to do this. And that way you know what to look for. You know what your metrics are, right? And this also shows you the importance of building out your email list and your fan page and your Twitter following and your YouTube channel over time, because you want that audience that you can share your blog content with. It's a lot more motivating to know that you're going to be able to immediately get 500 people looking at a blog post that you've written versus nobody, right? Versus not, you just throw it out there and you have no idea if anybody's ever going to see it. So that's another great reason to build your email list, to get your fan page built out. You have that built-in network of people that are going to give you immediate exposure for your content, right? So if you're just starting from scratch and you have no audience and you're not, you're kind of new to all of this, I would say your main goal right now primarily would be to get your blog posts to the top of the search engines, to find a series of keywords that you want to rank your blog for with different posts. And we talked actually quite a bit about that in the first webinar, going through the kind of checklist of search engine optimization factors to rank your content really well on Google. So make sure you review that, and I would just follow that kind of verbatim to rank your topic, your content at the top of Google, okay? So really what we're trying to do here when you create content, though, is to get you to be everywhere online. And that's really kind of the crux of all of this is it's not just about blogging. It's not just about your fan page or Google. It's about kind of integrating all of these different online platforms so that you're everywhere. You're seen everywhere. And when people are going online to look for your services, they just happen to see your name and your information out there in multiple places. And that's really what you want. That's what creates that just amazing expert positioning where they're going to want to work with you hands down because they're just seeing you out there all over the place. So how do you do this? Well, you want to think of your blog post as kind of the beginning point into this, but your first goal is get that post to the top of Google. So if that person types in a keyword, that post shows up. You want to share that blog post on your fan page. From your fan page, you can connect it to Twitter, so it automatically syncs to Twitter, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. And then you can share that blog post with your email list. You can create a short video out of that blog post and upload it to YouTube. And then you can also think offline, and you can print out that blog post and include it in a new patient welcome packet, or you can look to get that content shared in offline publications like little family publications or smaller circulations. There tends to be quite a bit of opportunity for that. So you can pretty easily repurpose your blog content into other mediums, right? And you can also think of referrals, as we talked about, for this purpose. So it's getting people to forward your content, share it with people that they know who are struggling with those issues or they think would benefit from that content, right? So the more you do this, you rinse and repeat this kind of process, that's where you just start to saturate the internet with your information. And it gets to a point where people have a hard time finding anybody but you. That's what you want. And that's something that I've done very, very well, like what I did both for my local practice and definitely for my coaching business. I just have so much content out there in all different formats. So when people type in keywords, or they get on Facebook, or they hop on YouTube, they're kind of seeing me out there everywhere, And like my personal email list is hovering just over like 20,000 people right now, and I've built that out pretty fast. And you get your email list up into the thousands like that, that totally interconnects with people finding you on Google and on Facebook. It all relates in a very synergistic way, and that's what you want in your business. You want people to see you kind of all over the place out there. They're getting email messages from you. They're connecting with you on Facebook, on Google, and on YouTube. And that is what we call market saturation. And if you look at what any successful online business is doing, or any sort of business that is using the internet effectively, they have that market saturation strategy in place very, very well. They're all over the place. And the good news for you guys is it's really not that hard to do this in a local business at all. Just take what we've given you here and start applying it on a consistent basis, and over the next few months, you're going to start to see it has a snowball effect. All right, so what goes into making a blog post effective? Here's my take on it. 400 to 1,000 words is an ideal target length. It could be a little shorter or quite a bit longer, but in general, most of your posts should be in that area. And then there's something that I call the magic selling formula, which anytime you're creating content, I like to follow this formula because it tends to work. It converts well, and people connect with your message more deeply. And it just goes like this: empathy, solution, call to action. So you begin your post or any sort of content that you create just empathizing with the reader's pain, or what is their motivation for being on that post right now. And then you share some solutions, some tips, some valuable resources, and then you tell them what to do next. So at the end of any post that you create, give them the next action step. That might be opting into your email list. It might be like checking out another blog post. It might be picking up the phone and calling your office. What do you want that person to do now that they've read that blog post? Always give them the next step, okay? It's helpful to ask questions and just get people engaged and make it as fun and conversational as you can. It's either it should be like oftentimes fun or very informative and like content rich, or juicy, I would say, like kind of emotionally charged. Like if you can get one of those three in your content on a regular basis, that's awesome. Entertainment, great information, or just kind of more emotionally charged or provocative. That's what gets people really intrigued with your blog and makes them want to come back. Don't forget, the call to action is very important. If you're going to take the time to write blog content, you always want to include the call to action. The main examples, I'm going to repeat those, would be to call your office, to opt into your list, to leave a comment on your blog, to like, share, or tweet your post, or to forward the post to a couple people who could benefit. Those would be the main calls to action in your blog content. And you can combine these, like it doesn't have to be just one, but probably one or two is plenty. But always tell your reader what they should do now that they've read your content. Otherwise, a lot of people just kind of leave. They just kind of go off and do the next thing. People actually generally need to be told what to do next, and that's why the call to action is so important. All right, so in general, that is that is my recipe for successful blogging. And we've talked about using WordPress. I think WordPress is the best platform to use. I don't think I included in these slides, but I'm going to list off just kind of quickly here some of the main plugins that you want to have on your WordPress blog. And a plugin, in case that's a new term, it's just basically like a tool that you implement into your blog to give it enhanced functionality or better marketing. And there are literally thousands of plugins in WordPress that you can install. But I'll give you just a quick overview, if you want to write these down, of some of my favorite ones. So the first one would be Akismet. It's Akismet, Akismet, and that is an anti-spam plugin, so people can't just leave spam comments all over your blog, because that gets really old. People will definitely do this if you don't have that plugin. So that's just kind of an automatic way to filter out spam on your site, okay? The second one would be Google Analytics for WordPress, so that way you can track all of the traffic that's coming in. You know where they're coming from. If they found you through a Google search, you know what keyword they entered. You can get very clear on what's working in your marketing, because Google will tell you this is where your visitor came from, this is exactly how they found you, this is the page they entered through, and even this is the page they left. So another really helpful thing there is with analytics, if you're noticing like a lot of people are leaving your website from the same page, like maybe they click your About page and then they're gone, and you're noticing that as a recurring theme, I would definitely look at that page and say, what can I do to tighten this up and make it a stronger page, and that's very, very common. So analytics is awesome because it just gives you a lot of that kind of hard data about what's working, what pages on your site are set up well, which ones still need work, where is your traffic coming from. The next one would be the social share bar. So that is where you have like the, I'll hop off here real quick and just show you, like this is the social share bar on one of my sites. So it just has the tweet, the like, and the share buttons here. So that way people can like, share, and tweet this just by clicking a button. And as we talked about in our first webinar, the more people you get liking and sharing your content, the better, because it now really makes a difference in your search engine ranking. Shares versus a blog post that does not have that, that is always going to factor very well for Google in terms of ranking that post. So the social share bar, there are a lot of those kinds of bars or those little plugins for social sharing, but that's the one that I use and it works very well. You might also want to get one though that, or just have your designer find one that it has the Google +1 and Pinterest as well, and maybe even LinkedIn. That's something that I should actually probably have on this, but I just haven't installed it yet. But at the least, just get the social share bar, okay? And then the all-in-one SEO pack, we talked about that one in the first week as well. That's the one where you can easily fill in title tags and meta tags for your blog posts, just like right here. I'll give you a quick example. And description down here, and then keywords. So this enables me to automatically set up a keyword optimized post in WordPress without needing a web designer. You just fill in these fields, click publish, and it's super easy. So that's a really nice plugin to enhance your search engine optimization. And then we have, hold on real quick. I'm going to just spend a couple more minutes on this because these plugins, some of them are very important. So on my site, I have a few paid plugins too, and I'm not going to go into a lot of depth on those, but just really quick, it's like if you are pretty interested in internet marketing, and especially if you're starting to branch out and go for like a bigger audience and you want to really go for building your email list, I use a plugin called Lead Pages, and that is where you can create like lead capture pages and sales pages without needing a web designer. Like they have really, really beautiful templates you can use to capture names and email addresses, and that's a really awesome plugin. That one is kind of expensive. It's like $37 a month, or $297 or $197 for a one-time fee. I can't remember, but yeah, if you get pretty interested in internet marketing, you're definitely going to want to use a lot of different kinds of squeeze pages and getting your email list built out without having to rely on a web designer, and that's what Lead Pages does for you. Okay. The other ones here I don't think are quite as important for you guys, but that's a really, really nice one. So I would say just start with those. Just get those installed, and like I said, there are thousands of them, but those are some of the really good ones. I would say also, last one would probably be, I don't see it installed on this site, it should be, is the Google XML Sitemaps plugin. So that's just another search engine optimization plugin that just helps Google kind of crawl your site in a way that makes it more organized and more, Google can more easily understand what's on the site and the different pages, and it just indexes your site in a more organized way to have the sitemap plugin on there. So Google XML Sitemaps is the next one you would want to get, okay? So let's just leave it at that for your plugins and just get those installed for now. And at the end of this presentation, I'll give you a kind of a clear sense of getting into a system with your blogging and making sure that you're doing it consistently. I'm going to show you what I would recommend, okay? But let's switch gears and talk about video for a few minutes too here, okay? So let's start with, since we're already talking about blogging, video blogging. And so the way this works, and some of you guys have heard the term vlogging or video blogging. All that means is that your YouTube video is really the basis of your blog post. So instead of writing out all your content, you mostly just use a video there. And this is still considered extremely innovative in the healthcare industry, which means it's a great marketing strategy because very few people do it, and it's really not that hard to do. But if you can get like a really successful, just good, kind of popular video blog going, it's a fantastic way to brand yourself and to market, to educate people, and to do something different. And I'll show you what I do. I mean, I think we talked about this a little bit too, but I just wanted to make sure this is totally clear. This kind of kills two birds with one stone. You can consider shooting your videos, uploading them to YouTube, and then having them transcribed into blog posts using speechpad.com. So that's a transcription service. That's $1 a minute for your content. So if you have like a 10-minute video, it would cost you $10 to get that transcribed. And that way you have both the video and the text there, which is really nice on your blog because Google doesn't crawl your video content. It only looks at text, right? So getting all that content on there in the form of text is really, really helpful because that's what a content-rich site would be, not just the video. So just real quick, let me show you an example of that. This is just something that I kind of do ongoing in my own marketing to get a ton of content out there on my sites. So I'll show you just a quick example. So let's take this one here. How life coaches can successfully market their business. This is using the exact strategy that I'd recommend for you. So what I did is I shot this PowerPoint video first, and this is a 14-minute and 38-second video. So I shot the video first, just created a PowerPoint presentation, and then I went over to speechpad.com and had them transcribe this for like 15 bucks. And you can see now that this is all I did was copy and paste their transcription here. And if I scroll down, you can see how much content is on this now. So if I wrote all this out, this is like almost 3,000 words, I believe. This would take me forever. It would take a long time to write that much content. But just shooting the video and having the PowerPoint, that whole thing probably took me 35 to 40 minutes to do. And then, just pay a little bit of money to have it transcribed, and I have all of this content now. So that's a really awesome strategy because you don't have to sit there in front of your keyboard typing it all out. Honestly, that is one of my kind of killer strategies for doing that, is you would do this exact same thing. You could create a PowerPoint video, or you can just use SpeechPad to hop on the phone, speak your entire presentation into the phone, get it recorded, have it transcribed, do some very basic editing on it, and boom, you can get that thing out there on Kindle or another platform very, very easily, much faster than just sitting around typing it, which takes forever. So in my experience, about like a 12, well, let's see, about 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes of video content is about 2,000 to 2,200 words. So if you get like a 60-minute presentation, you should have 10 to 12,000 words of content, which is plenty for a short ebook. It's plenty. And you can use that to create like your free information product you give away on your website for whatever whatever purpose you have for creating content. That's just an awesome way to do it. Speak it first, then have it transcribed. You can do some basic editing on it, and that is way faster than writing the whole darn thing out. So you just work off of a basic outline then. Like my outline is in PowerPoint. I just whip out these little PowerPoint presentations, and that's my outline. And then I'm pretty good at just kind of spontaneously rolling with the outline and just interjecting deeper thoughts and just more detail. That might be a skill that you develop more over time, but it's really not that hard to do. You just got to practice it and get in the habit of doing it, and it's a fantastic way to get a ton of content out there, okay? All right, so this is an example here of a video blog. So it's just the blog post with a video embedded into it, and that way people can consume the content either via YouTube video, or they can read through this entire thing, which would be kind of crazy, but some people may want to do that. Actually, a lot of people do. Not my method of choice, but whatever works. So that's a great content-rich blog and website out there. Shoot your video, get some really good in-depth videos going of 10 to 20 minutes and have them transcribed, and that's just a fantastic marketing strategy. So about YouTube. YouTube is the third most visited website on the internet with over 4 billion video views per day. Very few practices or small business owners use YouTube for their marketing, so you still have a window of opportunity to be innovative and do something different using video. Video tends to sell better than any other medium. It conveys more emotion, personality, trust, and warmth. So especially for people that are new to your work, they don't know you yet, if they can come across a video of yours, it's about as close as you can get to actually being in person with them. So they can hear your voice, they can watch you kind of move on the video and make eye contact a little bit. They just feel like they can get to know you a lot faster through that medium than text, right? So that's a very powerful way to educate and to sell what you do. Over 53% of all online content is currently in video format, and this trend will really only continue. So what we're seeing on the internet now is everything is trending towards video. And that is, in another 5–10 years, this is probably going to be 70%. All content will be in video format. But right now, in the healthcare industry and personal growth, you still have a tremendous opportunity to use video in a very innovative way. Not many people are doing it. So you've already gotten a sense of how this can benefit your practice, but let's dig a little deeper into that. So you can get your YouTube videos ranked pretty easily at the top of Google for any number of keywords, often within a couple of hours. So as you may know, it takes a long time generally to get your website ranked at the top of Google. But since Google owns YouTube, Google tends to favor YouTube a lot, and you can oftentimes throw up your video, and sometimes even in a matter of minutes, get your YouTube video right there on the first page of Google, whereas it may take several weeks or even a couple of months to get your website or a blog post ranked. So that's a really nice benefit of using video. Videos can stimulate referrals just in a very similar way that we talked about with blogging. You know, you can encourage people to forward those videos to people that they know who are struggling with those issues, and that's just a great way to get that viral marketing referral component happening. Video, in general, just helps you get noticed more, and it increases celebrity status. The people that are willing to do video are generally the ones that have bigger audiences, bigger brands, more brand recognition, for sure. And video is a great medium to use for patient education. And you can get so creative with this. But you know, think about it. Like, how would it affect your practice to make a list of all the greatest areas of confusion, the greatest sources of fear for people, the greatest areas of apprehension, of resistance, just complete misunderstanding of your work? Like, write down all of these things. Like, if you're a chiropractor, what causes people fear about trying your services? What causes them confusion? What do they not generally understand? Where do they have unrealistic expectations? And you can shoot short videos that directly overcome these issues. And then when somebody signs up for your treatment, you can actually set those up in your follow-up email sequence so that they're immediately and automatically pointed to those videos, and those videos kind of do the heavy lifting for you in terms of ensuring that whoever signs up for your care is going to be a great patient. So they're not holding on to unrealistic expectations or carrying around all of these kind of misconceptions around what you do. So even if you just use YouTube for this purpose, just for education, I think that's great because it's a very powerful way to really turn people into, I think, higher quality patients who fundamentally get what you do on a deeper level. But lots of other benefits here too. You know, you can use it as a front-end marketing tool to get to the top of Google and just integrate it with social media, so share your videos on your fan page. Lots of opportunities there. So a lot of us, when we think of doing video, we immediately get turned off, and we were like, you know, this all sounds fine and good, but I just don't think I'm going to go there. And maybe it's because we're too self-conscious, or we're really introverted, or we just don't want to do it. We just don't feel like it's a good fit for us. And I totally get that. And I think all of us have some reluctance to trying a strategy where we're showing up on camera and being willing for potentially thousands of people to see us over and over again. That can feel a little daunting. You do get used to it, but I wanted to give you just a couple tips on getting mentally prepared for doing this. Because if you can overcome some of these hurdles, I think the benefits far outweigh the disadvantages. And honestly, this is why most people don't use video, is because they have some inner blocks and some limiting beliefs, and they're too self-conscious. So if you're willing to overcome any issue you have in that regard, I think the payoff will make itself clear to you pretty quickly. All right, so my first thought here for you is you will always be your own worst critic. So when you watch your own videos, nobody will dislike your videos as much as you do. And, you know, it's my experience, everybody that I know who does a lot of video, we all say the same thing. I mean, it's hard to hear your own voice sometimes. It's hard to see yourself on camera. You're always finding flaws in your presentation. You know, we just habitually tend to pick ourselves apart more than anybody else would. So you always want to look at video marketing through that lens of knowing that nobody else will be as harsh on you as you are. So this is a practice, I think. It's kind of like a personal growth or almost like a spiritual practice of being willing to get yourself out there and then review what you've done and see if you can soften the edges, soften the judgment you have towards yourself or being overly critical. You want to look at video as a practice, and it takes patience with both the script, the execution, and the technical setup. It doesn't take that much patience because it's honestly really not that hard to do. I mean, obviously, if we have 500 billion videos up there on YouTube, it's not that hard to throw up a YouTube video if everybody in the free world has pretty much done it at this point. So getting videos up on YouTube is not hard to do, but for some of us where this is a new idea, yeah, you just want to be patient with yourself and know that it's a little bit of a process to get the video done, to make sure it's decent enough to get up there, and to get it up on YouTube and optimize it for marketing. And ultimately, you want to get to a place where doing this is actually fun, because it's you having fun on video that is going to connect with your audience the most. If you're only doing video because you think it's going to get you new patients, or you heard Kevin say it's good for marketing, and there's no real heartfelt connection with it, it's not going to work that great, right? Like, your heart has to be into this. And if your heart's into it, you're having fun with it. It's something that you enjoy doing. And that is always going to connect with your audience a lot more than doing it because you just think you should do it, right? It's an obligatory thing just for your marketing. So video should be fun, and educating the public like this, and you know, kind of creating these short videos that help people understand what you do better and share your philosophy and discuss case studies, and just like blogging. I mean, it's very similar. All of this, I mean, it's work, but it should also feel like you have a passion for it. It's fun to you. You love getting out there and showing people the value of what you have to offer and how you can help them. I mean, in general, if that's not fun to you, we have a problem in business. That's all marketing really is, and if that's not fun to you, it's obviously going to be a huge hurdle to getting more people in the door. So video is a kind of a mirror for how you feel about yourself and marketing in general, I think. And it helps you to overcome some of those barriers and limitations of self-consciousness. So you can start to feel like, yeah, I'm just doing this because I have a passion for it, and I love helping people, and I have something valuable to share with them, and ultimately that's a really fun and enjoyable process. So let's talk about what kind of videos you're going to want to create on behalf of your work, okay? Similar to blogging, really. And you can, like I said, you can shoot videos and turn them into blog posts and kind of do these both simultaneously. So there's a little overlap here if that's your approach. Or you can keep them separate. You can have separate blog posts, separate videos. Modality overview, how it works, why it helps people. FAQ video, where you answer all the main questions you get, and you can refer to this constantly when people want more information. A homepage video for your website is a great idea. What we see is that if you have a homepage video, that across the board increases conversion on any given website about 20%. Yeah, meaning that you'll get 20% more of your visitors becoming clients or patients. I highly recommend putting an about page video on your website. So shoot a little longer video where you go into some depth on your story and what got you into this kind of work and what you're passionate about. And that is really compelling to your audience. A lot of people, if they're looking to sign up for your services, they love to hear more personally about you and why you're doing this kind of work. It helps them feel like they can trust you. That kind of message comes through in video way better than text. So it's just another great opportunity to make a little bit more of an emotional connection with your audience, okay? A top 10 conditions treated video series. So those are videos that you can get to the top of Google for, and you can use as referral generators. You can set them up in your automated email sequence where you link to those videos and you show people like what you treat and what you're most adept at, what you're most passionate about. Those are great videos to share with people. And then insight, philosophy, or personal growth videos where you take a more generalized approach and you just talk about the nature of healing, the nature of transformation, what your personal kind of spiritual values are and how that relates to your work. People generally like that a lot. So some of you are going to feel more comfortable with that than others, but I think this gives you an opportunity to maybe step into a little different role as a teacher, as a coach, as a leader, and attract people that are interested in what you're interested in and will resonate with you on a value level. So those are great videos to create as well. So let's give you a quick example here and talk about, like, if you were to shoot a video taking a condition, how would that work? What would you do with it? What is your goal? So let's say you're, let's take the example of being like in San Diego, and let's say you're a psychotherapist and you want to shoot a video helping people in your area with anxiety. So you would shoot a video with this title, most likely, so San Diego-CA Anxiety Relief, How Psychotherapy Can Help You Heal from Anxiety. Now that title for your video is very good because it's keyword loaded, meaning you're getting a whole combination of keywords that the average person may be typing into Google, including San Diego Anxiety, San Diego Anxiety Relief, San Diego Psychotherapy, San Diego Psychotherapy for Anxiety. People are going onto Google and typing in those kinds of keywords all the time. So you have a video that kind of captures a lot of those main searches that people are doing. So your first goal then is to structure that video to get it to the top of Google for a few of those main searches, right? But then, of course, let me follow through here. So you then do social media. You can share that on your social media outlets like your fan page and your Twitter following. You can use it as a referral generation tool, right? So if people come in with whatever issue and they say, oh yeah, my husband has anxiety, my wife has anxiety, my friend has anxiety, whatever, can you help with that? You would point that person to this specific video and use that as a referral generator. You can use it in your follow-up email sequence, where if anxiety is one of the main conditions you treat, and that's something that you want to see more of, well, you can have an automated follow-up email that you set up in Aweber with a link to this video that says, hey, this is something I treat a lot. Go check out this video. Here's the link. This will really give you a lot of great tips and understanding of how I work with anxiety, and make sure that you understand my process and how it works, and make sure it's a good fit for you. And then you can embed that video into a blog post and turn it into a video blog, right? So in general, this is how you're going to use video. You're going to kind of syndicate it through as many different outlets as you can and have a few different goals in mind when you're shooting this content, right? So it's not just about getting it up on YouTube and then doing nothing with it. It's like kind of building it into your marketing, like sharing it with people who have that issue and need more information, and your video is kind of like an infomercial of sorts that tips the odds in your favor of them wanting to work with you, right? And you would follow that exact formula of empathy, solution, call to action if you're shooting a video like this. So if somebody has anxiety, you would start that video by saying, hey, you're probably here because you're struggling with some chronic anxiety and you're looking for natural ways to relieve it or eliminate it entirely. Maybe you've tried more conventional approaches and maybe it hasn't been totally satisfactory in terms of the healing that you've experienced. And if that's the case and you're feeling kind of frustrated or you're just not really sure where to turn, well, I think you're in the right place. And in this short video, I want to give you 3 basic tips on how you can heal anxiety naturally. So, right, and then you go into your content. And the third tip would be your specific modality. So like in this example, here's exactly how psychotherapy can help you. Here's what makes us different. Here's why it should be a great fit. And then here's what to do next. Here's the call to action. Call our office, go to our website, download our free ebook, share this with people that you know who struggle with anxiety. That's the recipe for using YouTube, right? So your videos should be 3 to 5 minutes long, simple, short, entertaining, and engaging, just like your blog content. And remember our formula, empathy, solution, call to action. Always conclude your videos by telling the viewer what they should do next. You keep hearing me say that because it's super important and a lot of people miss that. Now when you shoot videos, it's really important to exaggerate the tonality and pitch of your voice just a little bit. So like 20% more animation than you would normally have, because video tends to diminish voice quality, and you just want to make sure that you're not coming off as muted or dull or monotone or boring in your videos. And whereas you might look totally animated in your real life, on video, everything gets kind of dulled down a little bit. So you just want to exaggerate your body language, your voice, and your pitch a little bit, okay? Now, what I recommend that you do is spend a little bit of time just going over to YouTube and watching videos with thousands of views to assess why they are popular. And I'm more specifically in your market, in your niche, like if you are a psychotherapist, go to YouTube and find videos of psychotherapists that have 10,000 or more views, and just keep doing some research until you find those, and then reverse engineer those videos. Like, you look at them through the lens of marketing. Why are people liking this video so much? Why are they sharing it? Why is it going viral? And you can oftentimes just pick up these little elements, these nuances that lead to more viral marketing in the video. So this is a lot of what I've done, and it works really, really well. To spend some time on YouTube and really look at these videos that are viral from more of a marketing perspective, and then see if you can, of course, adapt those traits or those qualities in your own way and incorporate them into your videos, right? Usually, what causes a video to go viral is the entertainment component. So your message is a lot of fun. It makes people laugh. It has humor. It's something that has a novelty to it or is amusing. For most of us, that's probably not going to be our hook. That's not going to be quite it. The other thing that can get people really engaged and sharing is if you're willing to take a stand on a certain issue and be controversial. So if you have a belief about some aspect of healthcare or insurance or why people don't heal from anxiety and what they need to do about it, and that might be a little controversial, and you're willing to maybe take some negative feedback on that, but lots of positive too, that kind of video content will often go viral because it gets people emotionally engaged and it gets them strongly reacting to what you're saying. So that's what causes people to share it and make them want to get others to see it, to see what they think, right? So track those trends when you're watching videos and just see what is it about this video that is causing people to want to share it with people. And usually it's kind of one of the two. It's controversial, it's super entertaining, or occasionally it's just so informative and content rich and has such a deep message and so much substance. Actually, I've seen that not be quite the case as much as the other two. But that's a great exercise, is just find what makes the video go viral and reverse engineer and apply it accordingly to your marketing. So the best way to prepare content for your videos is just to have a detailed outline that you memorize so that you stay on point, but you don't memorize your video script word for word. And the reason this is you want your video to appear natural and spontaneous. You don't want it to look scripted or too rehearsed, because then it loses the magic, right? Visualize that you're not on camera, you're speaking to a friend or even a client in a setting that's very comfortable for you. And the more you do this, the better you get and the easier it becomes. Did I say it was a practice? And yes, it is a practice. And the first couple times you do this, it may not feel very good. It may feel awkward. You may feel self-conscious. That's totally normal. The more you do it, the easier it gets, I promise. So these are just some helpful ideas, though, to make sure that your videos do come off naturally, that you have a great presentation, that you're received well. It should be spontaneous. It should have a kind of an impulsive, impromptu quality to it, so people can tell you're not just scripting the whole thing, right? You're speaking from your heart that way. So take these principles to heart, and it should work well. I'm just going to go run through a quick equipment overview for your videos. Now, this can be very, very simple, and really the simpler the better. What I recommend is that, first of all, if you have an iPhone, I would probably just use that. I would probably just stick with that and not get anything else, because that's all you really need to get started. However, if you don't have an iPhone or a webcam, I would get a flip camera, and you can just go to Amazon and type in flip camera, and they have the Flip Mino HD camera, which is about $249, and that is specifically made for shooting online video. So you can shoot the video, plug it right into the USB port of your computer, and immediately upload it to YouTube, and it's very, very simple to use. iPhone is also extremely simple, and you can also use a webcam, and that'll work fine as well. Your sound quality in your videos is very important, so I just recommend using like a basic clip microphone. This one, the Audio Technica ATR 30, hold on one sec. Audio Technica 3350 is a great one to use. That's what I use, and that works fine. And then if you're on an iPhone, you can just Google this. iPhone mic adapter and tripod case. So if you're going to get a tripod to shoot videos with, you're going to need a case for your iPhone that syncs with a tripod. And these are like 20 bucks, 10 bucks. They're pretty cheap. And then, you know, you're going to need an adapter to connect your iPhone to your microphone, okay? I use a Manfrotto tripod if I'm shooting video at home and doing like more scripted videos. Not totally necessary, but you can Amazon that one too, and you should get a tripod for 50 to 60 bucks. A lighting kit is great, but it's certainly not necessary. So you can also Google or go on Amazon and just type in like studio lighting kits, and you can find a basic lighting kit for like 129 bucks, where you'll just get like 3 lights and you know, just that basically like are the ideal for creating lighting around your videos. I don't think that's totally necessary to get started. Most of your videos can just be more kind of spontaneous, either outdoors or in your office, getting video testimonials or just shooting something more impromptu, and that's totally fine. But do try to use natural light as much as possible if you don't have a lighting kit, because the lighting on your videos as well as the audio are like, these are the 2 most important factors that will determine the quality of your video. So the lighting kit is a nice addition if you can swing 129 bucks or so, but certainly not necessary to get started. And then also a green screen or a white screen backdrop is really good if you're doing higher end videos and a little bit more professional, but certainly not necessary to get the ball rolling here. All you really need, I think, is an iPhone and or a flip cam, a microphone, and some basic natural light, and that will definitely get you going. Keep it very, very simple, right? So if you refuse to be in front of the camera, even after everything that I've said, hopefully I've convinced you that it's not that bad. You can do this, and the payoff is worth it. But if you're still just like, no, it's not for me, I'm not going to get in front of the camera, your next best bet is just to use PowerPoint presentations. Just like what we're doing here in this webinar, you just create these slides, PowerPoint slides, and you just do a voiceover on your slides, and that works fine too. To do this, you just get Camtasia for PC or for Mac or ScreenFlow for Mac, and use either PowerPoint or Keynote to record simple presentations. So like this example that I'm showing you here with this life coach video, that's all I did. I'm on a Mac, and this is Keynote, and I have Camtasia, which is a screen recording software. So it just captures my voice over the PowerPoint, and then it uploads into Camtasia, and I can upload it directly into YouTube from Camtasia if I want. It's super easy to use, super easy. So these things are, like for me, they're totally a no-brainer. Like I just can whip these out super fast. But yeah, this will just be a practice over time to get these PowerPoints down, and that's a great medium to educate people and to connect with them. So consider just doing that. And what I'll do generally, like on videos like this, where you see like these little images here, in general, I don't recommend going to like Google Images to find images. But in my opinion, at least, I think if you're just putting these on a video, you can go to images.google.com and just copy images off of Google Images to use in your videos. I would not put those images directly on your website, though, because that's where you can have some issues with like copyright and such. But I do use some of their images for my videos sometimes. So that's all you really need to do these PowerPoints. It's really very easy. Camtasia and Keynote or PowerPoint for Mac, okay? All right. So I don't recommend getting into video editing all that much, especially just to get started. You can use iMovie if you're on a Mac for this purpose, or Windows Movie Maker. Most of us are going to tinker with it for way too long to make it worth our while. But in general, it's pretty darn easy to like add music to it, like intros and outros, or text overlays, or graphics. I don't do a ton of this just because it takes too long, and I'd rather just get it out there and just move on to the next one. But occasionally, yeah, get into iMovie and just overlay some text or add a little intro song or something like that. That's super easy to do. And if you don't want to deal with video editing, you can easily hire someone off of a site like Guru.com for very cheap and send them your video file and just tell them exactly what you want to do, and they can spruce up your video however you want and make it as fancy as you want. So if it's going to be like on the homepage of your website and you know a lot of people are going to see that, yeah, you might want to head over there and just have a videographer tighten it up and make it look really, really sharp. And, you know, the thing about Guru.com is you might only be paying $2 to $4 an hour for somebody to do that, because a lot of them are overseas, and so it can be very, very cheap to get this done. You can also post an ad to Craigslist in your local area for a videographer and have them shoot a whole series of videos in half a day for you. And I've done this. I did this myself in my practice, and I did it as a trade. So I just gave them some treatments in exchange for their services, and that worked out great. But yeah, if you hired somebody for half a day, you might pay $200 to $400 for them to do that, but you'll have a whole series of videos then that you can use to market in the way that we've talked about. So that can be a great investment, and your videos can be a lot higher end that way, and you don't have to worry about the tinkering with the setup or anything. Just leave it all to a videographer. So that's if you have a budget for that, of course. All right, so the next step now, I want to make sure, so we talked in our first webinar about search engine optimizing blog posts, which is a really important strategy for getting your content ranked at the top of Google. We kind of want to do the same thing really for your videos, because that's a big reason why we shoot videos sometimes, is we want to get those videos ranked well in Google. So the first step is to identify the keyword you want to rank for. And then ideally, you want to save your video file as that keyword. So if you shoot a video on your flip camera or in Camtasia, when you save that file, it would just be the name of the keyword. So in our example before, like San Diego anxiety relief or something like that, that would be the file name of your video. And Google definitely tracks that in terms of your search engine rankings. I'm going to roll through these a couple times or really quick, and then I'm going to get off and show you just an example of this, okay? So put the keyword in the video twice, in the title of the video twice. Add your keyword to your description and tags. Add an annotation with your keyword in it. And then you can go to Fiverr.com and build backlinks to your video. And you can share your video on social media, and you can ask for more likes and shares and tweets from there, which always helps as well. All right, so I'm going to actually, if that was really fast, don't worry about it. I'm going to go through this just really, really one step at a time to make sure you know exactly how to do this, okay? Let's come up with a new example. So if I was taking the example of, let's say, Miami, let's be Miami acupuncturist. I would title this video Miami Acupuncturist Three things to consider when seeking acupuncture in Miami. So you can see this is a great title for your video because it gets your keyword in there a couple times, and it has a few variations like acupuncture in Miami or Miami acupuncturist. And that's, I try to kind of title stack with keywords as much as I can. So I'm getting a lot of variations into that title. And then in the description area, the first thing you always want to start with in your description for your videos is a live link to your website. And you would put http://www. And then I'm going to get my keywords in the description again. So if you live in Miami, Florida and are considering acupuncture services, watch this video to learn how to choose the right acupuncturist for your needs. You might want to embellish that and add like 2 to 3 paragraphs and just kind of repeat the keywords 1 or 2 more times and just give a little bit more content, but you see the idea there. I'm just trying to get my main keywords into the description area. And then in the tag section, same idea. So I'm just going to add my main keywords. And maybe just a few others that would complement it as well. So Miami acupuncture, acupuncturist, acupuncture in Miami, Florida acupuncture, Miami Chinese medicine, Miami herbalist, Miami nutrition, Miami yoga. So that way, if people are typing in any of these keywords, there's a chance just by having them set up in a tag that I can get that at the top of Google. And I'll just fill those out pretty extensively usually. So that's it. I mean, that's really all I do kind of initially to optimize my video using the title, the description, and the tags. And then we talked about adding an annotation. So that is just right here. And what you would do there is you just click the annotations box after you saved all this, and you would just add an annotation wherever you want it to go in the video. In your annotation, I'll just add like a speech bubble. I would just put like something like what's cool about this now in your annotations is you can actually put a link to your website. So like, for example, for more Miami acupuncture info, go to www.yourwebsite.com. So you can just set up that annotation wherever you want it to go in the video, and that's just another keyword that you're using to optimize your video, but also you're putting a clickable link in your video then as well, which is really cool. So YouTube just recently updated this so you can actually put links in your annotations, which I think is a pretty sweet feature. So that's an annotation. Sorry about that. And then you would also want, all right, actually that's, in terms of the on-page video SEO, that's all you need to do. That's all you would do is just set it up exactly like that. What I would do then is give it some time, see where that video is ranking. And, like if you're in the #1 spot, you're like, okay, that's great. I don't really need to do much else. And you just kind of monitor that over time. If you're like on the 2nd page of Google, on the 3rd page, so it's gotten ranked and it's, it's fairly high up there, but you really want to give it another boost, then what you would do is use Fiverr to get more search engine optimization. And that's what this one is. You want to build backlinks to your video, pay like $5 over on Fiverr to have somebody do this. Let me show you a quick kind of example from my own marketing. And I recently did this, and I just want to see if it's still up there. So I was targeting, for my own marketing, this keyword, doctor marketing. And yeah, this is an extremely competitive keyword. So we can see here this has 196 million results, which means it's a very competitive keyword. It's a pretty generic keyword, and it's highly sought after for a marketing company to get ranked well on Google because it's searched a lot. So we can see here I'm #4 on Google for this video, and I just use this exact same strategy that I just shared with you. You can see the title, Doctor Marketing, 3 Powerful Marketing Tips for Doctors. And if we type in Doctor Marketing Tips, which is also a good keyword, you can see I'm number 1. The description and so on. But then I just headed over to Fiverr, and I'll actually give you guys the exact guy that I use to do this. He's good. He's very reputable on Fiverr. And you just type in, you can either type in your own keyword, or you can just have, I'll actually find this guy here for you. Yeah, it's this guy right here. His name is Dino_Stark, S-T-A-R-K, and he has thousands of people signing up for his gigs. And so, yeah, he's done really good work for me in the past. I've used him quite a bit. And so what he does is he builds a backlink pyramid with 5,000 profiles with these different kinds of links for your YouTube video. And that way, it's, especially for a local keyword, it's pretty darn easy to get it ranked right up there at the top of Google, okay? So you can pay $5 to drive a lot of links back to your video, and that can really bump up your search engine rankings, all right? So Dino_STARK, you can check him out and have him do this for you. You can see it takes him 6 days, and he has 354 of these in queue right now, which is insane. I don't see how he does all this, but yeah, he did mine within like 5 days. And you can see he has like all positive reviews here too to do this. So actually, yeah, it's right somewhere on here on this particular order. You would see that all of his reviews. Yeah, right here. He has 18,000 positive reviews and 0 negative reviews. So he's a great resource for doing this SEO work. And you can use him or something similar like this for ranking anything you want at the top of Google. It's like a blog post or video, your Facebook fan page, whatever you want to get up there for a certain keyword. That's what you'd use this person for, is to build you this backlink profile. So you're getting lots of other sites on the internet to link back to whatever you want, and Google always likes that to improve your search engine rankings, okay? And he gets high page rank backlinks, which are good. That's what you want. All right, so I think that's enough for search engine optimization on your videos. Hopefully a pretty simple process. So that's let's kind of summarize some of our main points here from the last 3 webinars now, and just make sure you're having a kind of a cohesive game plan for putting all this together. So the first thing that you want to do is have your website designed for maximum conversion. Make sure that you get your opt-in form, social media engagement, benefit-oriented copy, and a professional design, as we've talked about. Rachel at buildyourdreampractice.net is my go-to web designer if you need help. Make a list of keywords you want to rank high on Google for, and then create blog posts and videos that are optimized for these keywords using these strategies that we just laid out here for you. And then set up your Facebook fan page and build out a large audience using both pay-per-click, like paid advertising, and great content that goes viral. So we want to build up that fan page as large as we can, because that's one of our primary audiences, and we can share our blog posts, our videos with that audience. And then we haven't talked about Twitter, but I'm just going to give you a couple quick tips of integrating Twitter into this whole conversation. You can link your fan page to Twitter at facebook.com/Twitter, and that way every time you post to your fan page, it'll automatically go onto your Twitter feed. I recommend automating Twitter as much as possible because it's just too much to incorporate it in and keep on top of all of it. So I just automate it. I try to just create the content all through Facebook. And then I'll use tweetadder.com to build a large Twitter following. And I encourage you to just go on that site, tweetadder.com, and kind of learn about that software and see if it's something you want to use. But you can target locally and just start building a large following using for your local audience, or you can just target based on keywords of people that are interested in certain subjects, and you can get them following you, or other people on Twitter that they follow. You can target specific people, and it's just a great way to automatically build up a pretty large following on Twitter. And that just gets more eyeballs on your content, gets more exposure, and you can automate most of that using Twitter. Okay. I recommend, as I said, emailing your email list at least 2 times per month, and sharing blog posts and videos and content with your email list on a fairly regular basis. Most of us don't email our list nearly enough. So what this whole process does is it creates a snowball effect of traffic and exposure that will lead to celebrity status, expert positioning, and a much bigger business. You want to set like a 6-month window for yourself to really start going for this strategy and implement consistently, and over time you start to see more of that snowball effect taking place. So here's your ongoing homework, just kind of indefinitely as part of your business and getting online and really using these strategies just on an ongoing basis. You want to create a marketing schedule as follows. 2 blog posts per month would be great, so 400 to 500 up to 1,000 words. Feel free to shoot videos and then have those transcribed in the blog posts. But you'd also do 2 YouTube videos per month. That's very realistic, shooting 2 to 3 minute videos. Once you get the hang of that whole process may only take you 15 minutes, 20 minutes from start to finish to get that done. And then ideally, you want to get out on Facebook and do 2 to 4 Facebook fan page posts per day. Sync that up with your Twitter following, so those posts are going on Twitter as well. And as we mentioned in the Facebook webinars, use their pre-schedule feature to get your post set up in an automated fashion, which is always helpful for time. And then set goals. Like in the next 2 to 3 months, set a goal to get 500 new fans and 200 new email subscribers onto your email list of people in your local area or whoever's a targeted lead for you. Sharing really awesome content, encouraging your fans to bring others in and share that with people they know on a regular basis. And you just set these metrics, set these goals for yourself so that you have something that you're building up to, okay? And that's within 2 to 3 months. Maybe a year down the road, you have 4,000 to 5,000 fans. You've gotten 1,000 to 2,000 new people onto your email list, and you're really starting to see that audience build and grow for you, and you're staying in touch with them, and a lot of those people are converting into paying patients or clients, okay? And you just stay with this consistently, month in and month out, and you just keep doing it until you really start to get that snowball effect happening where your content is all over the darn place online. And like I said, it's hard for people to not see you anymore. It's just whatever they type into Google, wherever they go on Facebook, whatever they're doing on Twitter, wherever they're, whatever they're doing online, if they're looking for your services or help with their needs, they're going to see you out there. So that is, in a nutshell, how you pretty much dominate the online scene, okay? Let me just keep these up there for a sec. So yeah, this will get you guys going, and I think this is a lot of what I do on a regular basis, and it works great. And obviously there's some work involved here, but it's not too bad at all. I mean, once you get in the flow with this, you can pretty easily manage this over the course of a month. And so start creating your content, getting the system in place for yourself, and yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much all you guys need for now. I'm gonna post the information product, like the passive income webinar and the referral generation webinar, onto our recording page, so you'll have that too. So you should have a ton of content here to keep you guys busy for a while. And let's leave it at that. I think that will get you guys going and using all of these strategies really effectively for your business. So let's stay in touch, and I hope that this whole series has really helped you out and given you like a ton of tips and really great ideas for using the internet in a way that honestly very few of your competitors are in your area. And I think you really do have a prime opportunity here to really kind of own the online scene and kind of dominate the lion's share of the online searches and social media. It's really not that difficult to do, and hopefully I've made that clear to you here. So let's leave it at that, you guys. I'll go ahead and get this recording up here shortly, and go ahead and start implementing. That's really the next step. Take a lot of action, and that's really what's going to determine the bottom line of your success. So yeah, I really, really appreciate you guys joining me in this 3-part series. It always goes by so fast, but we've covered a lot of ground, and this should really give you a blueprint for long-term success. And I really look forward to staying in touch, and all the best to you and your practice success, and keep me posted. And it's been great working with you guys. So we will bid you adieu for now, and have a great rest of the week. Take care, guys. All the best. Bye-bye.